Don't laugh. Don't disrupt me.
I'm paying attention to you.
I'm a man. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever you prefer. Today we're going to be doing a game review. A game review on what, you say? Final Fantasy 15. So I just started this channel, so I'm going to try not to be bad if you like watching me and my shitty quality of video. Thank you. I appreciate it. And if you like me, go ahead and leave a like. If you don't, you could dislike it, or you could subscribe me, it could be cool. And you can drink tea with me. And we can talk about games and movies. And whatever else you want to talk about. So Final Fantasy 15. So this game's been in development for like 10 years. Like, I heard about it when I was like 13, basically. And it just was a game everyone like always hyped up, was very excited about, just to see, you know, like the big expectations. And it went through a lot of, you know, scrapping and then coming back to it, and people had a lot of high expectations, of course. Well, the best thing to say is you can go ahead and buy the game. I think the game is really outstanding, and that's my personal opinion of it. There is some problems with it, but we'll get to that. So we'll start on gameplay. The gameplay of the game is really, I feel like, the forefront like of the entire game, because the combat is very smooth. It reminds me a lot of Kingdom of Hearts. And when I first started playing the game, like, this game like throws you in for a loop, for example. Like, it's just like, it just starts off, and I wish like there was a lot of more backstory to kind of like understand who these characters were, and like, because it just throws you in. Basically all you are is, you just know you're a prince of some kingdom that you don't even know the name of right off the bat, and then you learn, oh well, you know, Insomnia is getting attacked. Oh well, I didn't even know. So it's that kind of thing, but it throws you in with this different thing. And I've never played very many Final Fantasy games. I only played one a long time ago when I was a lot younger, and I really didn't know how to feel about it because I didn't like the turn-based combat, and that's just me personally. So I was really glad that this was all like in fast pace, and it was actually, you're in the moment, and it was the action of it that was really awesome, and it worked really well for it. I feel like when I first started the game though, I felt like the combat was way too easy, and I was a bit disappointed. I thought it was going to be something where you were just super overpowered, there was no challenge to the game, and there was going to be like just nothing. Well, right off the bat, it starts off really easy, and it's just to get you into the swing of things, but then you realize really quickly that the combat is stupidly, insanely hard. I wouldn't call it insanely hard, but for a good example is like, there was this one dungeon that is in the first starting zone in the desert. Went with Prompto, went with Ignis, and went with Gladiolus, and we went there, and literally I'm fighting like level 7s, like level 7 goblins in this dungeon, and I'm like, oh okay, like, you know, we're just mowing through them. Then out of nowhere, a fucking level 56 pops out, and you're like, oh, well, Shit. To sum up the gameplay though, basically, the gameplay is the best part of the game. The combat is very fluid, and there is a lot of strategy that you actually have to put into the combat. You have to be able to flank opponents and get behind them, and you have to actually get around them. The world is probably the best part of it as well, and it took me a while to get used to the world because, you know, it's mixing this fantasy element with this medieval, like, kind of thing with the modernness. There's just so much into this. I began to love it because it really threw me off guard. I was just like, well, why is this like a 50s like diner kind of thing, and then they have like monsters and stuff? But it's really cool, and once you get to really learn about it and really understand the world, it's just awesome, and you begin to really like it. I feel like the gameplay is definitely the highlight. You know, like Prompto, he has the photography. Gladiolus, you know, he's basically like survival, which I don't actually know what that ever did besides just it was just some random skill of survival. I don't know if it like affected health. I don't know what it did. Ignis, on the other hand, like Ignis has his cooking skills, which is really awesome because every time you guys like camp or you go to an outpost or you ever stop or whatever you do to rest and everything, because the only way to level up is you have to rest. But every time you do that though, you gain your experience and everything, and Ignis will cook for you, and it actually gives you experience and bonuses. So the game, there's a lot of things it was overwhelming, but it took me a while to figure out. Once you get it all figured out though, the gameplay is awesome, and that is definitely the highlight of the game. What is the negative, and what do I not like about it? The negative is genuinely just the story. I mean, because like I said, the world is beautiful. Like, this is probably the best graphics I've ever seen in a game. Like, it is close to The Witcher 3. But when it comes to the story, like I said, there's so many plot holes, and I read a lot about it, and I looked a lot of research towards it. Was, you know, they had made an anime to condone with a story before release, and they've done all kinds of stuff. In conclusion, though, when you're in the game, it just sucks. Like, it's because there's so many plot holes, and I wish, like, right off the bat, it had, like, Noctis, and, like, I assumed, like, the game was gonna start with Noctis as a kid or something, and he was gonna be, like, and it shows how you got to know Prompto. It showed how you know Gladiolus as you know him today, and it shows how you know Ignis, and all these characters that you begin to love eventually, but right off the bat, I didn't even know who these fucking guys were. Like, I didn't know if they were my friends, you know, but it took me a while to grasp that, and eventually through the rest of the story. Overall, though, there is just a lot of plot holes. Like, there's a lot of characters that don't get told what their motivations are and what they're about. I did like the ending. It did take me a while to grasp and to figure out the ending, but overall, I feel like that's really its only downfall, is that the story just does not make sense and kind of condone itself in its own way. There's so many plot holes. There's a lot of things I would like to have known about, and they establish connections that lead to nowhere, and it's unfortunate because it's such a beautiful world and it has incredible gameplay, but the story just does not vibe together at the end of the day. It just doesn't work. Some things and some of the areas work because you begin to really love being with teammates and stuff like that because they're there for you, but it just doesn't work at the end of the day, and it just kind of sucks, unfortunately. But either way, I still think this game is a buy. If you like RPG games, I think you'll definitely enjoy it overall. If I had to rate the game out of 10, I would give it probably a 9, because, like I said, and I feel like the point's just lost because of the story, but everything else is so excellent and it works really well. I also heard they're going to be doing like updates and stuff, and they're going to be like adding even like plot lines and stuff like that, and cutscenes, even a co-op mode that I was like, what the fuck about? Like, stuff like, it just feels like they still didn't have enough time, which I don't understand because it was 10 years of development. Either way, it was good, and I'd say it's definitely a must buy. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you make tea or make some coffee, or go get tea or get coffee.